the whole genesis of Throwing Muses goes back to the early days of PCM when we were having a great deal of difficulty getting male actors to audition for our shows. So as we tried to employ the write what you know approach to a new script, we set the stage with the lead character being a playwright with a big hit in his past, but who's been struggling for years, and who has been commissioned to write a play about women, which afforded us the opportunity to really only have to cast maybe a couple of guys, but the whole rest of the cast could be women, so that solved that problem. And then we just had to set about putting him into situations where he had no idea what was going on because, as the old adage says, men really don't understand women at all. And that's really where Throwing Muses came from. And as you'll see in this opening scene, Damien Gaeta as the writer Casey Bindleglass is definitely struggling with his writing and his career.
Why, God? Why? Why? Maybe that's a possibility. The Jesuits always said, answer a question with a question. Why? Why not? I'm asking myself questions and answering them. Maybe I don't have writer's block. Maybe I'm just losing my mind. No, I've done this before. I can do it again. Can't I? It's simple. There are 7 basic storylines. Man versus man versus nature, man versus the environment, man versus machine, man versus God, man versus self, man versus the empty page. The trick is to come up with something new, something inventive, something that hasn't been done before, where I could use my razor-sharp wit and keen powers of observation of human foibles and get it all done on a deadline. A damn deadline to please a fat cat producer who wouldn't know the difference between a good script and a Microsoft Help Manual. Of all the things a person should worry about in his life, trans fats, melanoma, dropped cell phone calls, I'm worried about a damn script deadline. Look at me. My palms are sweating. You sweat like that? Feel for yourself. Nah, of course you don't sweat. What am I asking you for? You're an agent. You have no soul.
One of the things that the Throwing Muses script gave us a little more freedom to do than with earlier scripts was to get a little on the silly side. And, our lead character, KC, the struggling writer, we got an opportunity to explore maybe some of his failed scripts. He had one hit when he was young. It's been a few years. He hasn't had anything else produced since then. And there's a little sequence with his agent, played by Jen Sertikowski, where she pulls these scripts out of her attaché case, her briefcase, to remind him of, some of the missteps he's taken since his big hit, and hopefully spur him on to greater things. And we had a lot of fun. There are a lot of discarded ideas for this, but the 2 or 3 that made it in were of particular insanity. And I know our lead for that show, Damien, particularly enjoyed the final example, which gave him an opportunity to channel one of his favorite movies, which many of you will know as the greatest Christmas movie ever.
It's not like your last few scripts have been Broadway bound.
That's harsh.
Apple Pride in Bus Stops, about a bus driver who tries to sell apples to his daily passengers.
Admittedly, not my best work.
The Trouble with Parasites, a comedy about a young man with a horrible skin condition.
Actually, that was supposed to be a tragedy.
It was a tragedy, all right. But this one's my favorite. Die Hard, the skull.
Oh, come on! That script had it all, okay? An identifiable hero.
Who kills upwards of 100 people.
Thrilling set pieces.
Expensive and unrealistic.
And then, the finale, when John McClane stares down the evil terrorist and sings his signature tune, Yippee-ki-yay, mother...
That's enough. I can't sell these. Look, things have changed. When you were up and coming, you had the freedom to write what you wanted. And the hunger, the desire to be different.
Yeah, but shouldn't a writer always write like that?
Don't interrupt. You know, I'm hungry and I want to eat, damn it. Victor is a producer with a lot of money. Money he wants to invest in a play about women. Preferably one that will be a smart and funny hit. Now write it.
Thanks for the confidence boost, you viper. Okay, smart and funny. I can do this. Sheila worked in a factory where all the other employees were vampires.
So before I get a little alert telling me that time's going to be wrapping up soon, any other thoughts, Jill, on the whole Throwing Muses experience?
It was exciting for me because I was teaching at Arts University, but I had not done a show in that new space yet that they had just built. So it was, and I knew that since I was pregnant, I knew that my time on stage was going to be
Wrapping things up.
taken away for a very long time. So that for me was very fulfilling because when I did Project Mom, I was just kind of getting out of my like college mindset and I was like, all right, I want to do shows. And that was the first show that kind of like got me back involved. And it felt like Throwing Muses was kind of like the bookend on a very short time where I was like doing play after play after play, and it felt so fun. So it was exciting and introspective, and I always love working with Damien. I feel like he's that actor. If you know he's in it, you're like, okay, we're fine.
Aw, Jill.
So I always feel that way anytime I find out that Damien's in the show too. I'm like, oh, good.
I feel the same way.
We did a one act together a couple years ago, and I had no idea you were even in the one act. So when you were at the first rehearsal, I was like, oh, yes. So yes, I feel the same way. But.
And Jill, just as a quick aside, you didn't tell anybody else that you were pregnant at the time other than me, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, I mean.
I had no idea until a baby arrived shortly afterwards. I was like, doing the math, I was like, so that means...
Yeah.
Well, there's something very special about that then all around. Damien, as the one who carried the water for the vast majority of that show and helped us drink. Any final thoughts on Throwing Muses?
It was the show that made me fall in love with the PCM crowd because I kept coming back for more, but it was in between scenes or in breaks when I wasn't stressing out about all the lines I had to memorize. It was goofing around with the other castmates and whatnot, So I remember me and Dave were quoting movies back and forth, and I didn't know Ken well at all at this point. And I had quoted something from Under Siege 2, and then Ken goes, "Did you just quote Under Siege 2?" And I was like, yes! I was like, we're gonna get along just fine. So it was like that quote that kind of like solidified me and Ken's friendship, I think. So it kept me coming back more. I was like, as long as I can quote movies at rehearsals, we're fine.